I wanted to start today was talking about Elon Musk's potentially asinine child support payments. If you by any chance don't know what's going on there, Elon Musk had a child with Grimes, who I guess I don't really know how to describe Grimes. I'm not personally a fan. I know that they are an artist of some kind. I guess I can do a little bit of research to give you guys. Okay, Grimes' net worth before Elon Musk. Okay, it's hard to get that exact number. An estimated guess that I'm seeing would be somewhere between $3 and $10 million as a gross net worth, which of course is amazing. I'm not about to sit here and be like, Grimes is just another stingy baby mama. It's not like that. Obviously, she's doing pretty okay. But when we Google Elon Musk net worth, we see $244.4 billion. I mean, let's just do a little bit of math. Billion divided by... You would have to multiply Grimes' net worth by 24,440, basically, to equate to Elon Musk. Whoever said that's it, no, stop that. But this lady basically explains the situation in a lot more condensed way, so I'll let her take it from here.
Elon Musk might have to pay $702 million a month in child support. And it all comes down to one technicality. Elon Musk and Grimes are both currently suing each other. Elon sued Grimes first over parental rights of their kids. He filed this lawsuit in Texas. But a few days later, Grimes retaliated with her own lawsuit in California. Now that the two have separated, Grimes lives in California.
Hold on, that's a crazy maternity pic. Yo, what in the Charles Manson kind of pregnancy shoot was this? I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I got cats, so when I was pregnant, there was a couple times where I looked a little bit like this. You know, them motherfuckers were trying to give me, like, an involuntary C-section or some shit, but, like, that's clearly deliberate, which, okay, so you carved into your skin superficially, and in some cultures I know that this is actually kind of like a tattooing method. But then let's talk about the symbol. Isn't that just the symbol for a butthole? I don't know, that just took me way off guard. Why did you carve up your stomach like that, bruh? Did you just call it nature's wallet? Chat, you're cancelled.
California. Now that the two have separated, Grimes lives in California, but Elon still lives in Texas. Elon is arguing that he's looked after his 3 kids in Texas for more than 6 months, so that's where the lawsuit should be. But Grimes, now that the pair have separated, has moved back to California, so she wants to have it there. And this is the kicker. Texas has a cap on how much child support the higher earner has to pay, no matter what their income is. So even though Elon is a billionaire, it doesn't matter how much money he earns because he'll only have to pay a certain amount. But in California, they take into account the child's custody needs and their incomes.
I like the way she phrased that. Isn't that an interesting way of phrasing that? Like, oh, yeah, in Texas, there's a cap, which is bad. But in California, they actually take the needs into consideration. No, I think that the 2 states are just prioritizing on different people's needs. I think that Texas recognizes that a parent cannot properly parent if they're having an insane amount of their money taken. But I think California is looking at kind of the needs of how much could we get out of that, though? Because the Child Support Collection Office has a right to take some percentage of every payment of child support put forth. So any percentage, even 3% of $702 million a month, is going to be a huge win for the entire state of California. Hold on, what is the cap? So the most amount that you could pay per month for child support would be $9,200 a month. I think that's per child, or that just might be in total. I'm no accountant here, but there's quite a difference in just under 10 grand a month and millions, hundreds of millions. I mean, again, I don't usually get caught up in like celebrity cases very often. Depp v. Heard was like the last big one for me. But this one's a pretty huge case because you don't have to like Elon Musk at all. I personally don't care if Elon Musk has to pay someone $702 million a month. If there's anyone in the world who can afford such a child support payment, it's going to be this guy. But I think it's the prerequisite that we're setting here. The standard that we should be looking at for family court is what is fair, what is justifiable.
Elon's monthly income is estimated to be about $8 billion monthly, which means that the California courts can charge him up to $702 million a month in child support. This number isn't set in stone, but it's a fact that there's no cap on how much they can charge. So that is why Elon is fighting to have this in Texas rather than California. We'll see what happens, but I'll keep you updated.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Who in the chat has had a family court trial that was kind of contested because the kid has lived across multiple states? I'm curious to hear how that excuse that Elon is giving actually holds up in court. He's saying, well, the kids did live here for over 6 months. And 6 months is a pretty significant amount of time. But I guess I'm curious to know, where have they lived majoritively? And initially, this is something that a lot of courts don't consider, and they probably should, at least a little bit, is the fact that they'll take, like, well, where has the kid lived? But not actually consider why has the kid lived there. Think about how often a parent, mother or father, takes the child and is just like, we're just gonna head out, mine now. And then they go move. This other parent now has to hire a private detective to even find where they are, to even start serving them papers. In this time, of course 6 months could pass. You know what I mean? So at that point, all they're going to consider now is like, well, the kid's been here long enough, they've made friends, so we have to have it here. And it's like, but the kid was supposed to grow up here. It wasn't, they just made the unilateral decision to skip town. How is that fair? And I'm torn on the subject too, because, again, regardless of how a child ended up somewhere, if they build a sentimental connection to the state, it's something you have to consider. But does that mean that any parent who wants to just like skedaddle out of town with their kid is just gonna be in the green at that point? They just get the upper hand? That seems pretty unfair. There's no way Elon would have the liquid assets to afford $702 million a month. Absolutely. I think that's like the largest number that anyone in the peanut gallery could possibly have calculated. Either way, though, it's gonna be crazy. It's going to be absolutely insane, because what they do, if it gets to California, is they just take gross income and they take all of it. Everything. Man, I've seen people add their like grandma's monthly gift. Like if baby daddy's mom gives him $100, $200 a month, I've had them issue proof. This is proof that his mom gives him $200 a month, and then they add that as his income in the child support calculations. I've definitely seen that. So of course they're going to take all of his stock profiles, everything that they can possibly subpoena, and it is going to be largely different than the $10,000 number. Absolutely. It's just interesting because I can understand the whole, well, if one parent is earning this crazy amount of money, then, you know, of course they can afford a greater child support. And percentage-wise, it makes sense to a certain point. But I'm really with Texas on there being a pretty hard cap because, and again, every state is different. Cost of living is different everywhere. But if you can't take care of your kid on $10,000 a month per kid, you don't deserve custody. I don't usually make like blanket ubiquitous statements like that, but straight up, in any state, if you cannot make it work being given $10,000 a month per kid, you are a failure, bro. What is going on? And like, let me wind that back again a little bit. If the child doesn't have very special needs, okay, we can get into the medical conditions to where you're getting $10,000 a month and still scraping by. It can happen, but on average, dude, if I'm handing you 10 grand every month and you're still asking me for clothes money or dentist money or fucking anything at that point, you're a loser, dude. You're so financially illiterate. Like, you should not be the one with custody. Not at all. That's crazy. Now I gotta buy you a financial manager on top of giving you $10,000 a month? You crazy? You out of your mind?